G'day to all my kindred spirits from every corner of the globe. Have you ever had one of those moments where the world feels like it's crumbling beneath your feet just because of one silly, clumsy mistake? One split second of carelessness that sends all your hard work down the drain, leaving you wanting nothing more than to sit in the dirt and cry. Today, I want to share a story about Riley, a young lad living in the sun-drenched, dusty heart of the Australian outback. It's a tale about a spilled jug of milk, a pair of new boots that vanished in an instant, and a chance encounter that completely transformed the way he viewed failure. This isn't just a bedtime story, it's a powerful remedy for anyone currently drowning in the what-ifs and regrets of the past. Before we step onto the red sands and listen to the whispers of the ancient eucalyptus trees, I want to express my deepest gratitude for you being here. Your presence is the greatest gift to this channel. If you love stories that nourish the soul, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell with a bit of joy in your heart. Let's build a community rooted in wisdom and resilience together. Now, let's get into the story. Once upon a time, on the rugged edge of a small town deep in the Australian outback, where the red dust coats every leaf and kangaroos dance against the violet sunset, lived a boy named Riley. Riley was 10 years old, with eyes as bright as the Southern Cross and a heart that carried both the innocence of youth and the weight of early hardship. He lived with his mother, Sheila, in a small tin-roofed shack nestled beside a grove of ghost gum trees. Since Riley's father had passed away in a great dust storm years ago, life had been a constant climb. Sheila worked tirelessly, washing laundry for the wealthy station owners in the region. Her hands were calloused from soap and the harsh sun, but her love for Riley was a flame that never flickered. They didn't have much, save for an old, gentle dairy cow named Bella, but that was enough to keep them smiling through the toughest droughts. Every morning, before the kookaburras began their morning laugh, Riley would lead Bella down to the creek to graze on the sparse green patches. In the evening, he would milk her, carefully pouring the white gold into a large clay jug. This milk was their lifeline. Half would be traded for bread and tea, and the other half was their main source of nourishment. One glorious morning, as the scent of wattle filled the air, Sheila called Riley over. She held the full jug of milk with a look of quiet hope. "Riley, my brave boy," she said softly. "Today is the town fair. I want you to take this milk to the market and sell it for a fair price. With that money, we are going to buy you a pair of brand new leather boots and a couple of those big meat pies you love. You've worked so hard, and you deserve a bit of magic." Riley's heart did a somersault. He had never owned new boots. His current ones were held together by bits of twine and hope. He imagined himself walking tall through the fair, the leather creaking proudly. "Don't you worry, Mum. I'll be as careful as a dingo on the hunt," Riley chirped, placing the jug into a woven basket and covering it with a clean cloth. As he trekked down the dusty track toward town, Riley's mind began to wander. He could almost smell the flaky crust of the meat pies and taste the rich tomato sauce. He thought about how, if he sold the milk for a few extra cents, he might even buy a hand-carved boomerang he'd seen in the shop window. Lost in these golden daydreams, his pace quickened. He started to trot, then to run. He forgot his mother's warning about the gnarled eucalyptus roots hiding beneath the shifting dust. Crack! A thick root caught his toe. Riley lunged forward, his arms flailing wildly as he tried to save his cargo. But the basket tilted, and the clay jug flew through the air, shattering against a jagged rock with a sound that felt like a lightning strike. The milk, their fortune, their dinner, his boots, poured out in a white flood across the thirsty red earth, soaking into the dust until it vanished. Riley stood paralyzed. The boots, the pies, the toy gone in a heartbeat. He fell to his knees, his small hands desperately trying to scoop up the white mud, but it was useless. "No. Oh, Mum, I'm so sorry. I'm so incredibly stupid," Riley wailed. He felt like the most wretched soul in the outback. He sat there in the middle of the empty track, sobbing bitterly as the wind whistled through the scrub. Just then, an old man wearing a weathered akubra hat and carrying a carved walking stick approached. This was old Jack, a wandering swagman known for his quiet wisdom and many miles of travel. He sat down on a log near Riley, took a slow sip from his canteen, and asked, "Well now, young fella, why are you letting those tears turn the dust into a bog?" Through his heaving sobs, Riley told him everything, the broken jug, his mother's tired hands, and his own foolishness. Old Jack listened, nodding slowly as he looked at the shards of clay. He placed a heavy, comforting hand on the boy's shoulder. "Tell me, Riley," old Jack said gently. "Will those tears make that milk flow back into the jug? Will your crying glue those broken pieces back together?" Riley shook his head, wiping his nose with his sleeve. "No, sir." "Exactly," old Jack smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "The milk is gone. It belongs to the earth now, and no amount of weeping will change that. But you still have something more precious than 1,000 jugs of milk, this very moment. You can choose to sit here until the dingoes howl at the moon, or you can stand up and see what else the day has in store." "But I've got nothing left to sell," Riley cried in despair. "You've got your health, your hands, and a lesson you didn't have this morning." Old Jack pointed his stick toward the town. "The fair is just starting. There are folks there who need a strong pair of arms to haul crates, or brush down horses. You know how to walk carefully now, don't you? Use that." A tiny spark flickered in Riley's eyes. He wiped his face, stood up, and squared his shoulders. "You're right, Jack. Crying won't help Mum, but hard work might." Riley ran the rest of the way to the market. He spent the day hauling crates of oranges, sweeping out the vegetable stalls, and helping a farmer move a stubborn mob of sheep. He worked until his muscles ached and the sun dipped below the horizon. By the end of the day, Riley hadn't earned enough for the fancy boots, but he had enough coins for a bag of flour, some tea, and a small tin of golden syrup for his mother. When he walked through the door of their shack, Sheila didn't see a milk jug. She saw a son with grit in his eyes and a new strength in his stride. She hugged him tight when he told her the story. "I'm proud of you, Riley. Falling down isn't the failure, staying down is. You chose to rise." From that day on, whenever life threw a spilled milk moment at him, Riley simply tipped his hat to the past and kept on walking. Friends, the story of Riley and the spilled milk isn't just about a clumsy walk. It is a profound philosophy for living a better life. The first lesson is acceptance. In our lives, we all experience spilled milk, a failed business, a breakup, or a missed opportunity. We have every right to feel the sting of the loss, but we must realize that dwelling in the what ifs is like trying to gather milk from the dust. It only leaves you with dirty hands and a heavy heart. Acceptance is the first step toward freedom. The second lesson is the power of the present. Old Jack taught Riley that no matter what was lost, he still had his present moment. Your power doesn't live in what happened 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago. Your power lives in what you do right now. Don't let the ghost of a mistake steal the potential of your current hour. The third lesson is resilience over regret. Riley could have gone home and hidden in shame. Instead, he chose action. He turned his regret into fuel for hard work. Remember, character is built not in the absence of failure, but in the response to it. As you go about your week, I want you to ask yourself, what spilled milk are you still crying over? Is it time to leave the broken shards on the path and start walking toward the market? Life is too short to be lived in reverse. Look forward, learn the lesson, and keep moving. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a like and share it with someone who might be struggling with a recent setback. I would love to read your stories in the comments. Tell me about a time you turned a loss into a lesson. I read every single one, and your stories inspire me to keep creating. And finally, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel with a spirit of growth and wisdom. By joining us, you're not just following a channel. You're joining a global family dedicated to being a little bit better every day. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. Stay strong, keep your head high, and remember, don't cry over spilled milk, just keep walking the track. Cheers, mates, and I'll see you in the next one.